Welcome to the Delco Nerd Network. I am your host, Anthony Ragucci, and here with a few friends in the Delaware County area. We get in a basement, we talk about a certain topic. Today's topic, getting into comic books. Here to discuss my co-host, Chris Trio.
Hello, everyone.
Back to basics, just the two of us.
Just the two of us. You and I.
So, what's been up with you?
I mean, nothing much,
Don't
man.
talk about what you've been reading, because we'll talk about
No,
that.
of course. I mean,
so,
you know,
watching, playing, all that good
back
jazz.
to school, regular stuff. I've been getting back in Shadow of War. That's very recently.
Yeah, I started the Blade of Galadriel DLC today.
You can play as Galadriel, just the skin in the regular thing, without owning the DLC. Like,
yeah, there's an
achievement.
I actually was going through the list. You have to do an online conquest with her skin.
Interesting.
So I guess
I thought that was cool. But what else? I just beat Alien Isolation again, just for no reason. I don't know why. That's a game that, like, I played twice, didn't love it. Played a third time, fell in love with it. This fourth time through, I actually, like, I think it's
played
awesome.
it that many times?
Yeah. And
Nice.
I think, I played it 2 times full. And I think if you're an Alien fan, that's a game, like, you'll enjoy even more. But what else? I mean, you know, regular stuff. Been popping into Injustice. Been playing a lot of Fortnite, actually.
Yeah,
with some of our friends, which has been fun.
Yeah, we've recently gotten to Fortnite, which is pretty cool. I like it. I'm not, like, a super huge fan of it, but I think it's a good, like, game to play with your friends. We're kind of in, like, a lull right now.
Totally. And, I mean,
So,
we don't got anything
like,
till God of War, basically, right now.
Yeah. So I've been heavy into Overwatch lately. I've been doing a lot of competitive Overwatch ever since, like, the Philly Fusion and the Overwatch League started up. For some reason, I got, like, really amped to just
get into
competitive Overwatch, and I've been like my rank was like shit for some reason, and like I've been really playing, and like I got up. I started at like bronze. I was like 1200, and now I'm at like 1700, and like really climbing the ranks and just playing it. And it's actually been pretty good because sometimes Overwatch can be like shit. Like you just get shitty teams.
Totally.
Like I've been doing a lot of like solo comp plays, so I'm not going in with a team.
And I feel like it can be
stressful when you're going in, and there's like
that's a game you need to depend on your team for, right? Like
absolutely.
Whereas like I'm playing
100%.
Battlefront and I can do good and still my team can fuck up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like,
and you're not like
it's not impeding you, maybe. Yeah.
What else have I been up to? Recently started up Horizon Zero Dawn, doing that new game plus for those trophies.
I need to get into Frozen Wilds, but
I don't have, like, I've been skipping all the dialogue and stuff and like just doing the main story.
Totally.
I'm level 60. I literally have nothing to like progress.
Yeah. So,
I don't know, like it's one of those games where like I did it with Mass Effect Andromeda too, which I recently got all the achievements for.
Yeah.
I had like no drive to just listen to the story again.
No,
I don't know. Sometimes games, especially, it really depends. Like a game like
really
Witcher, I'll go back and like definitely listen to dialogue. Dragon Age, definitely go back. Maybe the previous Mass Effect games, but Horizon, I'm just like,
you know,
like nothing's changed.
I agree. No, dude, I'm totally.
I feel bad that I do it sometimes, but like what I'll do is like I'll throw on a podcast and I'll do like an hour and a half or an hour of Horizon of the main story, just so I'm not like killing myself trying to go through it and like getting bored about it.
Dude, I totally understand, and I mean even like you do achievements obviously, so that's why you're playing it through again, I assume.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I would much rather. I was telling you, like, start it from the beginning and like progress and get all the gear again, because like I have max everything. I have all the gear I've ever want. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, and that's the thing you do run into with a new game plus. You gotta like be into that, I guess.
And not
even
like RPGs have new game pluses where like
I played Witcher's new game plus, but even that you're still progressing. Like you keep leveling. So you go up to I'm like a level 100 on my new game plus. So yeah, and like there's still obviously there's all the skills you can unlock still. So maybe that's a little bit different.
So with Horizon, like progression like literally comes to a grinding halt and like there's nothing else to do.
And I mean even in like Assassin's Creed Origins, like I still don't have everything on my tree. Do you?
Yeah, I have everything.
Do you have everything?
Yeah.
I got
to 45 and I
had everything
with it, which we've been playing the DLC, which we did a hot take on. We were actually thinking about doing a review on it, but like it's just not
DLC.
enough.
Yeah, no,
it's really not enough to like sit down and like talk about. Like we could cover it in probably like 10 minutes.
I totally agree.
What else? I Am Setsuna, which is a JRPG from Square. Tokyo RPG Factory.
Nice.
Pretty cool game. It's a small size, like, it's a $40 like indie game. It's pretty cool. It's a little depressing. I'm going through it like kind of slow.
I hear like that's
there's
a
a
very,
lot of
like,
repetitive elements. Like the music is all piano.
Okay.
And it's very similar, so it kind of
Like that
like
melodic
a lot of songs
yeah.
repeat, and it kind of gets a little repetitive. And the whole game is in a snowy environment, which is rare, but like it's depressing.
Yeah,
and, like,
totally. I mean,
it just
it's not a fun
further enhances that tone.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's kind of like it's in an old style of RPG where like when Final Fantasy 3 and 4 were remade, they're like old 90s games, and they were remade for the 3DS, and they kind of have this like chibi, like cutesy look to them.
Okay.
I if you'd see it, you'd get what I mean. But they have
No, that makes. I think
they
I
have
get what
that
you're
like
saying.
style to them. Like nothing's like the game isn't like graphically like incredible, but
No,
it's cool.
yeah.
I like it. It's a kind of RPG like I don't play much,
I hear
so
you.
I'm enjoying it. But
So it's an RPG. It's not like a
it's
like a
turn-based.
Telltale type.
No,
No, it's not. I see. That's what I thought.
There's
it was.
literally
I got that
no
wrong.
voice acting.
Okay.
It's all dialogue.
I thought that was like a. I'm thinking like the Edith Finch game. What is that?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's like a walking simulator
Yeah.
type game. Nah, this is like it's
think
like
I'm
old
confused.
school. Like the only noises they make are in battle, and they're in Japanese because I guess they just didn't find the need.
Yeah.
If they weren't doing FIO in general,
Then
like,
what's the point? Yeah,
who
yeah.
cares? Like
Mhm.
they just say things during battle, and like that's it.
I've been playing. Actually, I forgot to mention Batman Season 2.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
enjoying. There's been some stuff where I'm like, I don't
One
know
more
if I love
episode,
that.
and I think
Yeah.
we're gonna review it when I guess maybe next month.
I think so too. I finished episode 2. They're doing some stuff. They're doing this thing in a, and it's in any story like in a game where I just don't really like, and it's not really a spoiler, but they're making you like make choices that obviously are gonna be bad for like your actual. I don't know. We'll talk more about it in depth. I don't want to spoil
Okay.
anything, but
I think I know. I
it's-
think I know what you're saying.
Like, yeah. Anyways,
Maybe.
we'll get more into it when we review it. But I mean, it's Batman, and I think they do some really cool stuff in the Telltale series. That's my favorite Telltale series.
Yeah, so in the movie TV show area, watching those regular shows, Black Lightning's been on. I know we've both been
I've been
watching
behind
that.
on everything besides Flash. Like
Yeah,
that's been really
that's your style. Though.
it is. I mean, I like to just I like having that big chunk of where I can just watch like 5 episodes in a row.
I like watching like everything. Like I'm very much like I have to
You
watch
watch that,
the
yeah.
show in air order,
Mhm.
and like that week.
And I guess like when they start getting more towards like now that the crossover's done, I guess I don't feel the burning need to do that as much, and I can kind of feel like I can just kind of sit back. But Flash, I love that show, man. I really
Flash
do.
is doing good this
They're
year.
doing some cool stuff. It's not a speedster for the villain. I really like it.
Yeah,
but-
the Thinker's cool.
He is.
Did you watch this week's episode?
No, I'm one. So I'm
Good.
doing yeah.
What I was gonna say was I know I've talked to you a little about this, but I've been watching the Marvel movies back to gear up for Infinity War,
Yeah.
and I announced the other day on Instagram that we're gonna be doing like a Infinity War like both movie kind of prediction
Yeah.
because it only makes sense
True,
because
yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like a continuation
Totally.
story. So yeah, and I'm just like getting really hype. I watched Avengers last night, which held up for the most part. I thought the beginning like lulled a little bit, but like the movie's still good. And
Sure.
honestly, Captain America's suit isn't that bad.
His suit from here down is awesome.
No, the pictures and different lighting make it much worse.
But like the thing that ties that mask together is the chin strap. Is his click like that keeps it on. When he just has the cowl, it just doesn't look.
But
right.
that suit is like very comic booky and not like.
Dude, from
I wanna-
here
I,
down,
I,
it's
I don't
my
want to say
favorite.
realistic. It's not. What's the word?
It's practical.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's
No, I
like-
get what you're
it's
saying.
just-
Yeah,
it's
like it
literally
looks like it would actually exist. Like say he existed. You know what I mean?
No, I mean like that outfit is not practical.
Oh, okay.
Like you go to Winter Soldier and he's like in an actual
in a tactical,
combat
but that
suit.
is his comic book style, of course.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he looks like that. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
And then the other day I watched American Assassin, Michael Keaton. Which
You like
I was
that?
talking About. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I wanted to see that actually. I really like Dylan O'Brien, the guy, and Michael Keaton.
Did you start Altered
I
Carbon?
did.
Okay, I
I'm
haven't started yet.
I'm 6 episodes in, I think.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah, I should
How long?
think.
How long?
So it's 10 episodes, I
Okay.
think.
It's like,
I love, dude. If one thing that they nailed, it feels like an HBO quality show. Like when you're in these sets and everything.
Like Westworld.
Yeah, like it really, they nail that like that cyberpunk futuristic like Blade Runner-esque, not suit. It's not totally like in lock with that, like, but it definitely draws from that heavily. I I swear to God, they put a contract obligation in Joel Kinnaman's contract saying he has to be shirtless at least in 3 scenes of each episode.
Really?
I'm like, why are you shirtless?
Does he sound like he does in like Rick Flag?
Yeah, he sounds like an American. I mean,
I don't know if that's his real voice.
I think he's pretty good in the fact of like he's an action guy. He's good in the action scenes. There's some interesting.
He was one of my favorite parts about Suicide Squad.
Dude,
I
loved him in
really good job as Rick Flag.
I loved him in RoboCop. I thought he was really good. I actually really liked that movie. I know a lot of people were like, okay, like lukewarm about it.
Yeah,
but,
it's alright.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna like sit here and like just tear it apart for no reason.
But short and sweet. We're probably gonna do a hot take on this, so I don't want to get too heavily into it. I really like the show. I think it does some cool things. There's definitely some really cool ideas explored, like about just consciousness and like what makes a human being a human being. It's really cool. I can't wait to talk about it.
All right. So now that we've talked about what's been going on in our lives, let's get to the topic. So, getting into comic books. So, we were struggling what we were going to do for a topic this month.
Yeah, our post went up a little late because of it.
We really like couldn't figure out what we wanted to do. We had one idea, and then it kind of fell through.
Bounced to another.
Yeah. And then we and I was just like, I was watching Kind of Funny launch their comic book show, and I was watching that. And I was like, why don't we do that? I was like, I don't think we've ever really talked about comic books themselves to a degree on the podcast.
And it's funny you mentioned it, and I'm like, how did we not think of
about it?
Yeah, like it was funny. It was one of those kind of slap your heads moments.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start it off by just talking about like how we got into comics and when was the first comic book we read, and like I guess the jumping off point. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me?
Sure, why not? I mean, so I think what honestly got me into comic books was there's not a poster up is over there. There's the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah,
like I remember I saw Iron Man 1. I didn't know who Iron Man was. I was like, who is this? I saw it was a really
what
cool
my Marvel
concept.
knowledge was going into the MCU?
What?
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
that's something this shit from. I was like, I know the Shield helicarrier and Nick Fury. Yeah. Like I know this stuff.
I get it. But and it was one of those things where like I knew about comic books and like I know, of course you know Batman, of course you know Superman. And then, like, I went and saw this thing, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And after that, I didn't start getting into comic books directly, but then they started getting more in depth and exploring more things, and I'm like, man, I really want to know more about these characters and where they come from and everything. And and it's funny, the weird thing is, I kind of, from starting out from Marvel, I went to DC more. I'm definitely a DC guy.
Yeah, I think right now DC is better comics in general.
I really like
the Rebirth line.
You're gonna notice something a little uniform here. I don't have any Marvel comic books.
I brought down a Marvel.
I do have one at my house, but I didn't bring it because I didn't like it very much when I read it. Sadly, but
yeah,
not to say all their comic books are bad.
We'll talk about that stuff later.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's keep. No,
I know.
No. Sorry.
No.
I was just saying.
My first comic book, I think I read it. No, wasn't War of the Green Lanterns. It was Rebirth. Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. I don't know why.
Not to be confused with this current run of.
No, DC not Rebirth. So this is like the original.
Don't you love how there's so many rebirths of comics, and they decided to name
they're just like this
comic line Rebirth.
I mean, look, we got Flash Rebirth, and that's not the new Rebirth. So. I really don't know why I got so drawn to Green Lantern. Maybe it's because my favorite color is green. Maybe that was half it when I was younger.
Hey,
but like he's my favorite comic book character, and I mean I remembered him from Justice League, the show, when it wasn't Hal Jordan though. That was when he was dead. It was John Stewart.
Oh, I think John Stewart is the superior Green Lantern,
which is funny because he's not. But Hal Jordan, I think he's a really cool character. He's got a very cool backstory and storyline. Rebirth is all talking about how he basically there's a time in the comics in the 80s or the 90s where he becomes infused with Parallax, which is the fear entity.
Yeah.
All the emotional spectrums, all the different colors of the Green Lantern Corps have this entity, and basically took him over. He became evil, and they had to take him down. But the big thing about Hal Jordan is he is like the most powerful Green Lantern ever, which is interesting because he's a human and no human was ever a Green Lantern before that. Well, actually, there was Alan Scott, but he was not a Green Lantern in this sense. He had like a magic ring. He was the first Green Lantern back in like the Golden Age, and like it was weird because like wood would affect him. Like you can't, he's powerless against wood, and like really? Weird. It was just like weird 60s 50s stuff like that they come up with like
random bullshit.
Yeah, like because his ring's not powered by willpower; it's powered by the green, like the same shit that Swamp Thing runs off of and stuff like that. But what about you, Huge? What was your first comic?
I like how I'm not in the DC and Marvel realm when it was my first comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, watching The Walking Dead. That was one of the first TV shows I ever like sat down and started to watch by myself, and like getting into like drama TV. Like I've never really watched, besides Lost, I've never watched TV to that degree. So that was the first show. So I'm watching season 1 with my dad. Binge watched season 1. Fucking phenomenal. Probably one of the best seasons
awesome
of TV.
Stuff. Yeah,
Walking Dead season 1 is like the pinnacle of the show. The first episode is the pinnacle of the show.
When he wakes up in the hot,
it's
awesome.
So good.
It's really good.
And that's like right out of the comic books.
Yeah.
And then season 2, watch that, and now I'm watching it live with season 3. And I watched season 3, it was over, and I'm like, I want to read the comic books. So I picked up Walking Dead, Compendium 1, Robert Kirkman.
That's a meaty comic book.
The thing about The Walking Dead is it's still fucking going. So I'm not up to date with it.
Just turn it for them. Just show. Just turn the like see how thick it is. Like
oh no, but there was a glare. Yeah, it's a fucking thick comic book. This is like, if you want to talk from like the show, this is season 1 to about season 4.5.
And do they to season 4.5? How accurate is it? Up to that point, up to the Companion 1, I should say.
For the most part, it
pretty
is
much there.
It's kind of there. There are obviously more characters in the comics are, around that aren't in the show that get killed very quickly. A lot of characters have different arcs. Carol, Andrea, Lori to some degree, Carl in a way. There's differences.
Yeah.
So like I'm directly comparing, but I started. So wait, when did you start reading? Like how old were
year?
You?
I was probably 14, 15. No, I don't know. When did the first? I really have to think back. It was at least 5 or 6 years ago, I'd say.
So I started reading this
15, 16.
Yeah, so I started reading this when I was a senior in high school. It's pretty beat because I was carrying it around in school. Yeah, and like that's when I started that, and I really enjoyed it. Like I have the 3 compendiums that, no, 2, 3. 3. Yeah, 3. The 3 compendiums that are out, and like right now the 4th compendium isn't out because
it's still going.
But I started getting the issues, and I'm gonna get back into it. But like the thing about The Walking Dead is it's never gonna end, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And
well, it's a continuing comic book. So that's interesting. But continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think a good way to get into comics, and it's really hard. It's really so tough. Fucking hard. Even today, as much as I know, I still have an issue of like, what is a good jumping on point for Marvel? What is a good jumping on point for DC?
Yeah. DC, I'll give it to them. They did just give you a pretty good jumping on point with Rebirth.
We'll get into that, but like any other comic book, like if this is by Image and Skybound and Kirkman, like you could read Saga. I think that's done. Saga's it's not a superhero comic book that you can just get into and finish it and like not have to worry about anything else.
No,
the thing with like DC and Marvel, it's just like
it's all ongoing stuff.
Okay. Reading Kingdom Come. It's a really good like I guess
it is an Elseworld
story, comic that like you're gonna know like Superman's
it's a start to finish
and like Wonder Woman and then like who's this guy in the back, like I have no fucking I don't even think I know who that is.
Which one? That's I think that's the Atom, not the Atom. What's his name? It's the guy with the
not Commander Steel.
Captain Atom. I think it might be just Captain. He has like the red star.
Okay, and then I know that's Power. That's Power Woman, not Power Girl. Atom Smasher, and but like you're never gonna know everyone. Like you're gonna come across a comic like Civil War is a great example where like there's just so many people, and you're just like,
even that people? Like they have things like in the time that was made, they had so many things from other comic books connecting into that. I listened to the guy. Is it Mark? Who wrote that?
Mark Millar.
It is Mark Millar.
No, wait. Mark Waid. Sorry.
No, I'm talking Civil War. Sorry.
Oh. I think it was Mark Millar.
Yeah, I think it is too. But anyways, like there's all these feeding. Yeah. There's all these overarching things feeding into that from different stories. Like you got Spider-Man's story, you got Captain America's story.
Oh yeah, especially.
And you got to think about all those webs connecting into that
and
story.
And that by itself should turn you off from comics.
And that's tough. It really is. And even like that's why I have these. This is from New 52. This is the older stuff. Like they're volumes. So volume 1, this is I can't remember which issue to which issue of Aquaman, but that's I think the best way to do it.
So what I think you should do is if you're clearly like wanting to get into comics,
start with stuff like this. I really think so.
Start out with I first think you should start out with a character you like.
Oh, totally.
So pick a character you like. If you like The Walking Dead, that's easy. Just start reading The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You already have your pretext of watching the show. You're gonna get it. But with superheroes, there's so much like history and lore that goes into that. It can be a little like just like it turns you off.
And that's why.
Like, okay, if I'm gonna jump into like New 52, well, jumping into like a line is fine. But okay. Like
you're trying to but I get what you're saying.
It's a fucking lie.
No, but even trying to jump
like,
into like comics are expensive, man. When they add up,
and I like buying them physically.
That's the thing. I go on this website. I can read them all for free, and I get that you like having like yours in hand. And honestly, once they start coming out with like volumes for like the newer stuff, I'll buy them. 100%.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to wait because you can always buy other comic books. Like right now, Rebirth. I just started. I have the DC Rebirth Deluxe Edition, so this is like the beginning of the
like the whole
light. Mm-hmm. This is the beginning of like the Rebirth line. That's last
the newest
year.
Yeah, they just started
and leads
that
into
up.
the Button and Doomsday Clock and the Watchmen, which we'll talk about. But like start with a character you like.
It can put you at odds, and it's really it's overwhelming. I really do think that. Like that's why I'm saying, to like you said, even with Kingdom Come, something like this is called Superman Red Son. I love Superman. It's an out there.
You don't have to know a lot about comics.
Nothing at all, and that's what I'm saying. I think these are the best kind of stories to jump into. They're self-contained. They're these little spurts. This is my favorite I think one of my favorite comics of all time, by the way.
Book.
Superman
Red Son is so cool.
Superman basically lands in the Soviet Union, Russia, instead of America,
and that's the story.
And
like that's.
I don't even want to spoil it for you because there's a really cool ending in it.
Yeah,
but like the art's awesome. You don't need to know much. But it's a great great thing.
Start with something you like. Like when I'm getting into Rebirth, like I want to read Green Arrow, a Flash, Batman, and
Flash's Rebirth stuff is so good.
And I want to get into the Button and eventually Doomsday Clock. And that's kind of it. Like you don't have to read all the lines. And I'm thinking like Teen Titans and stuff.
I want to read the new Green Lantern stuff with Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz. It's like they're the new Green Lantern. And Hal Jordan still has his ongoing one too. But
but like. Rebirth is tough. Like, and I'm sitting down, I'm like, what's the reading order for the Doomsday Clock, the lead up?
Yeah, and I mean, there's not even that. Like,
and it's just like, holy
there's
shit.
Like 4. Yeah, I mean, I found that pretty easily. I found like a 5.
But like, there's a lot of lists of just like, okay, like start with Watchmen, read Flashpoint Paradox, read like.
No, totally.
Infinite
But that's
Crisis.
If you don't know. Yeah,
because
did you read Flashpoint? Right?
Yeah,
I thought so.
I think I wrote it down. Did I?
I thought you didn't.
I read it. I did read Flashpoint.
I thought you did. It's that I just think comic books overall are just super cool stuff. I know they're not for everyone, 100%.
If you're really if you're really having like trouble getting into like superhero stuff in general, I think there are your Image and your Dark Horse where it's a little more like
they're just interesting stories that happen to be graphic novels,
and it's not like this whole universe that's like a fucking like really confusing and really just like expansive.
It's just a self-contained
like DC and like Marvel where it's just like holy shit, where do I even fucking start?
And that's the trouble. That's really it. And like I said, I think you can do yourself a really big favor going. I think there's some really cool New 52 stuff out there for DC realm. Like I have New 52 Flash,
I think
really
if you're gonna
like.
get into comic books now, fuck the New 52, just read Rebirth.
I mean, and
maybe then go back.
Let's put it this way. If you really want to stay in line with what's currently happening, fuck the New 52. But, I mean, if you just want some cool stories that are already done in the meantime while you're waiting for these to get done, go back and read some older stuff.
One cool thing that Rebirth does is this comic book, I think, like, the Rebirth 1 is probably, like, one of the best comics I've ever read. Because, I'm not going to, like, say what it's about, but, like, it connects New 52 and
I mean, that's the idea about it, yeah.
And pre-crisis and the Silver Age, and like it makes it all relevant.
Yeah.
To the point where like you get it. It's not like too in depth,
really
but you're
cool.
like, holy shit, like Jay Garrick Flash and like, oh my god, here's New 52 Green Arrow. Like, what the fuck is he doing in here? Yeah. Like, I know that's not how he looks now.
Yeah.
And like same with like the Black Canary and Superman and Supergirl and all these people, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then at the end is kind of like, Jesus Christ!
There's
like, what a fucking book.
There's a that's the only comic book I've ever read where it like really like hit me hard. There's like one scene in it. I don't want to spoil it. That's awesome. And to bring up another comic that isn't DC or Marvel, this is another out of the Millar camp. Mark Millar. He's a very well known.
Who did he publish that with?
I can't remember. It's I think it's his own.
Millar, yeah.
I think it's his own thing.
Yeah.
So this is a book called Nemesis, if you can see it. Basically, imagine if Batman was a full-blown murderer who didn't give a fuck about anything. It's interesting. There's the art style is a little, I don't love it. Like there's some crazy shit that goes on in it. And basically the idea is that you can pay to become a supervillain. It's an interesting out there story, and you can find a lot of these. There's seriously Mark Millar, I highly suggest. He also wrote Red Sun.
Invincible is another one that
actually
just finished. It's finishing Wednesday.
I
can't wait to get into.
And then that's another
Kirkman comic by Image and Skybound. I haven't brought it up. Why I did once, but Watchmen. Watchmen is a DC comic book that is seriously this is Watchmen right here. This is it. Except for those
before Watchmen and stuff like that, which
I don't think were very
good. Critically acclaimed. No,
Yeah, you can sit down and read Watchmen and
it is
and
funny.
get it.
You can see how old they got the classic.
Watchmen is an old comic.
I need to read this. Really, this is my next comic I'm buying.
Yeah, it's from the 80s, right?
Yeah,
it's old, but
it's a really cool.
But I think,
really cool idea.
But I think one thing I was oh, Watchmen. I'm looking at it and I'm just there's Dr. Manhattan's a dick.
Yeah, no, I mean
and you can tell let me see. I can't really see if it's.
But I mean, and even
it's old. The way the coloring is and stuff. It's an old comic book, and they
meant to bring my other Batman ones. God damn it! A classic one you should always read for Batman: Dark Knight Returns. I feel there's also Batman Hush. I wish I bought them. I have.
There's a lot of stories within Marvel and DC that
are self-contained.
Yeah, Flashpoint Paradox is a good one.
Yeah. I gotta actually know.
Red Sun's a good one. Civil War for Marvel is a good one, especially if you've seen the movie. Old Man Logan's the same way.
Totally. That's another.
You've seen Civil War, and you can be okay, I know what Civil War is, and then you realize how far the movie is from the actual comic.
And it's more Civil War by name for the movie than actual by content.
Yeah. I opened right to it. Yeah. Look at all these people that are in Civil War and the sides. In the movie, it's half that.
Of course, but you got to realize they.
But then you realize how big these stories are and
how much they really encompass. And there's some really cool, just little moments. I'm pretty sure I read Civil War. I still own that? Is that in my? Where is that? Anyways, another one of my favorite DC. It's a Batman story. Well, I guess more a Joker story. Death in the Family, not to be confused. No, I'm sorry.
With
Death of the Family, not to be confused with Death in the Family.
Yeah.
So Death in the Family is the one that came out in the 1980s. Where Jason Todd's Robin passes or dies, he gets killed by the Joker. But this one is about a Joker who cuts his face off, puts it back on his face like a mask, and then proceeds to take out the entire Bat family in different assorted ways. And it's some interesting stuff.
Is Batwoman in that?
No.
It's just the Robins.
It's just the Robins,
Nightwing.
Batwoman, not Batwoman.
Batgirl.
And Nightwing and just his whole... Yeah, go ahead. It's a really cool story. It's interesting. You can see it connects from all the different comics like Robins and Nightwings and all that stuff.
It's the red Nightwing.
Yeah, which I actually like that costume.
Is that Red? I think Tim Drake Red Robin?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
It's a really good read. I highly suggest it. Joker is full out maniacal and insane in that one, and just there's some crazy, cool imagery. And half of a comic book for me really is the art style. I really think if I find a comic book and I can't enjoy the art style while enjoying the read, it's a problem. And one comic book I really want to bring up, because I think everyone always jokes about him, but it's Aquaman. And I fucking love this run of Aquaman. It's really cool. There's some I love the art style, first off. It's one of my favorite art styles out there. There's just some really great stuff. It shows you that he's not everyone, of course, likes to joke around about Aquaman. He's a pussy. He can't do anything outside the water. There's always the joke on Family Guy when it's the girl getting attacked on the beach and Aquaman's like, hey, you stop that right now. What are you gonna do, man? He's like, well, I'm gonna throw a fish at you or something. But it takes all that stuff that people kind of make fun of, and there's a part at the beginning of the book where it's a kid's asking him, they're sitting down to eat, and it's like, can you not breathe out of water? How are you surviving right now? Can you talk to fish? He's like, I don't talk to fish. And it's just there's some really funny moments and just some interesting stuff, and I love look at those panels. I think they look so good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just some
cool.
really cool art.
Yeah, if you're getting into comics, read something like not get away from the current continuity and read like a single story like Death in the Family, Death of the
And
Family.
that's what I'm saying. Those like New 52 runs
Civil
with
War
the
is not an example of that. Maybe Old Man Logan, because Old Man Logan is one comic and it's just totally
it's its own self. It's an Elseworlds story type.
Yeah, Flashpoint, Red Sun. Like get into those and then
if you're really feeling the itch, go for what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, find out what characters you like and read their current arcs. Like I don't even know what Marvel's doing right now. I wish
they did this whole rebirth type thing. It's not rebirth. I can't remember what it was called, but they did some type of reboot situation for their universe where it was supposed to be an easy jumping on point for everyone. And I don't know if it worked out or how well it's doing. I think they're doing pretty well. But yeah, you could do probably some research.
Yeah, I know. Like there's some Captain Marvel comic books are going on, and like Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, I know is kind of big right now.
Mm-hmm. What else? I'm trying to think. There was what was the other one I wanted to bring up? Like DC. I know I keep bringing back DC, but like these Elseworld stories. There's some really cool ones. Just some different. Like there's another. Yeah. Oh, perfect. There's one. I think it's Blackest. It's Batman Blackest Night. It's a comic where the Ring chooses Batman for Green Lantern instead, and it's another Elseworld story. Gotham by Gaslight. There's some cool stuff out there, but
yeah. So like. Some of these stories are really cool. Like Kingdom Come is I think like I read this and I was like, this is like a good end cap for the DCU.
That's so far off though. Yeah,
oh,
I know it's like
so far.
Let's get the beginning started and then we'll talk.
Yeah, like some of these stories like you're gonna see like get adapted into stuff, and it's just a matter of like what they choose to do. Like especially with like. Like, of course, they're going to use those older, really well-known stuff. Like, the next Flash movie would be Flashpoint Paradox. Read Flashpoint Paradox, or even watch the animated movie.
Which is pretty one-for-one.
Yeah. But yeah, like, read that. If you're playing Injustice is... I haven't started it yet, but I hear...
but I've heard great things.
It's really, really good. And this is year one, and there's 7 years, so this is the complete collection of year one, which is pre the first Injustice, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so...
It talks. That's the one where he punches Joker through, right? That's where you see it, I
assume.
Yeah. That's... there's just some really cool interesting stories out there.
Yeah, if you're into Injustice and you're playing Injustice 2, like, you can follow the comic book line.
Yeah.
And that's something where, like, if you played the games, you kind of understand the players in that universe, and then, okay, like, the comic book expands it for you, but it's still within the Injustice
100%.
verse.
Yeah.
You don't really need to know anything outside that. And, like when we were kids, like, we didn't like, comic books were not a thing when we were kids. Like, no.
I mean, no one around us. I didn't have anyone that...
In the early
2000s, it wasn't as cool, quote unquote. It wasn't as like
it was a dead point for comics.
Well, I just think it was before like this kind of rebirth. I don't know if I want to call it a renaissance of like the superhero movies. I really do think have done a service of bringing the stuff into the mainstream and like where it's not like Comic-Con and everything's such a big deal now. Everyone loves to go there and like. I just think this culture is becoming more. I don't want to say like accepted, but like more just accepted or
comic
more
books
just normal.
Definitely.
And, like, I think it's... You can look at a comic book easy and be like, well, that's for kids. There's nothing... Like, it's pictures and word bubbles. And,
they really aren't.
Like, there's... Don't get me wrong. There are totally comic books out there for kids, and that's what they did start out as. But, like, they have developed into...
for kids, man.
That's what... I agree.
This is a fucking dark book.
That's what comics have been able to
develop into. And this is, like,
one
of the greatest comics of all time.
And there's some serious shit.
Critically acclaimed book.
No child should read Nemesis. Don't let your kid read Nemesis. You can read Nemesis. There's some fucked up shit. Like, there's some actually, like, I was like, whoa, that's in a comic book?
Yeah, let me see.
Like, at the end, like, anyways.
Is this it? Is this, like, this is it?
I think there's other volumes that you can get. But, it's just, I think it's a really cool outlet that is finally getting some recognition that it deserves in a lot of way. And, like, the art that just goes into this, I think, is insane. Like, I really do. Like, to draw out all this stuff, to color it, to make it look as good. Wait, where's the one? This is... I need to show you this, Gooch. I think my favorite scene in this whole book.
Is that Rebirth?
This is Rebirth. Where is it? Where is it? They all get their new suits, and they look all badass. It's like one of my favorite shots. Continue talking.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Just comics in general.
Fill time.
Fill time. It's around here somewhere.
Yeah, like just don't be afraid to get into them and like
seriously, just give it a shot.
I mean, yeah, you might need to do some research, and that might be like, holy shit, what am I getting into? But I wouldn't be discouraged. Try to find just a solo story that you can get into, so you can like break the ice, so to say.
Yeah.
Walking Dead. Honestly, the show's shit. The comic book is way better at this point.
Like the show is just
the comic book is way better, and I'm actually excited to get like where I am in the I'm still ahead in the comics, but like we're getting to the point where like the show is gonna get it. Oh, this one.
Yeah, like
dude.
that's. Look, I like Wally's suit.
Yo,
actually.
this is in Rebirth.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah,
That's,
wait.
I can't remember.
Hold that.
No, that's. I love that shot.
I'm pretty sure it's in Rebirth.
I like Wally's suit too. It's like the more maroon. And he's got the cowl. Looks awesome, guys. Looks great. Fantastic.
Well, I'm gonna find it.
This is huge. I'm curious because I don't remember that. Is
Pretty
it?
sure it is.
I don't think it is. I didn't remember, but I feel like I would have remembered that.
He talks about it.
He probably
Right there.
Oh yeah,
There it is.
That's right. Yeah,
Yep,
that's the
there it
exact
is.
shot.
I mean, we didn't show it.
Here, let
but-
me see.
Yeah,
No,
that's it. I knew it was. I knew it looked familiar.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because
For
it's
a brief moment, it seemed like everything was perfect. Yeah. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Great stuff. Powerful, moving.
I don't know how much more I want to say.
I don't know either. Honestly, at the end of the day, we keep repeating ourselves. We keep saying it. Find that character you really like, that you think you really like. Find a comic book that's approachable. Even if I think some of the Green Lantern, New 52 stuff is cool if that's your forte. I wish I could speak more to the Marvel stuff of where you could really get into it.
I'm really not well versed. Like it's hard to be up to date on everything that's
Totally.
going on.
No, and
there's a lot of past comics that you can get into that are easy that everyone knows about. Kingdom Come, Civil War, Old Man Logan,
It's just
Flashpoint Paradox, Red Son. That are just, Watchmen, that are just, like, have been around for a while, and they're, like, the greatest hits of comics.
And
which is fine. If that's how you want to get into it, go for it.
Easily, and that might spark your interest to be like, you know what, I do want to go read these ongoing lines. I do.
Yeah,
and like I said, it's just...
expanding into something that you've never read. Invincible, Saga.
100%. There's, like...
Snot Girl. Fucking...
There's just out there...
Other shit. There's a lot of good Spider-Man runs, too. Spider-Man Blue I want to read.
There's some... I still want to read the Secret Wars one where he gets the black suit because that's always a classic. I always see that in the bookstore, the comic book stores.
Yeah, like Infinite Crisis is like a huge event in DC Comics that is it's old. You don't have to read it, but like I
it's
say
just an interesting
you might
story.
want to go for it because it is kind of like it's not really its own thing, but I don't really know how Infinite Crisis turns out.
No, it is. I mean, so basically
it's not its own thing, but it is.
So no, it was basically the cleanup crew for DC because they had all these different continuities and lines going on and like they had the Golden Age people and the Silver Age people that weren't interacting but they were still ongoing and they were like, all right, how are we gonna make it so everyone's just in the same universe? So like we can streamline this a lot easier, and that was what Infinite Crisis was. It obviously, I mean, there's a big thing, there's a big death at the end. I think we can, Flash perishes at the end. That's where Barry Allen basically exits stage left, sadly, and then that's Wally is the Flash till Rebirth. Actually, I think this came out. It was Jeff Johns wrote this.
Wait, is Wally in that Rebirth?
Yes. No, he's in Wally.
Is Wally? Which one's that? The Rogue one?
This is New 52. This is just the volume 2. No, in Rebirth, I actually love his Rebirth suit. It's the red and the silver suit, and he still has the cutout around his head so his hair's out. I think his looks sick. But
is this Barry?
Yeah, this is Barry. This is when Barry comes back out of the Speed Force after being there since Infinite Crisis. Oh, no, wait. I thought you had Rebirth. Yes, this is Barry. This is New 52. I love this art style, too. Francis Manipul. He does some, like, really cool stuff.
Is the Thinker in this?
I don't think so. I can't remember. It's just all the rogues. Golden Glider, like...
there's a storyline that the Flash season is kind of taking off. That was Jeff Johns' run. Ooh, voice crack. Jeff Johns' run that was like the Thinker and the Rogues and stuff, and Amulet Black.
I'd have to check it out.
But
I think that about does it for me.
Yeah. Again, we've said it like 7 times, but just find a character you like, or a nice intro point, by reading a self-contained story to get into comics.
Last couple recommendations, like I said, I think this Red Sun's an awesome one to jump in at.
Like, I'm no comics expert. We're no comics experts here, but like,
easy, yeah.
You know,
Kingdom Come.
Everything you're watching,
Batman stuff, like
on the screen is an adaptation of something
in some way, shape, or form. Like even like Dark.
And if you want to read,
even no, you're fine. Even like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, that takes heavily from like The Dark Knight Returns and things like that, and even like more so in Batman vs Superman, obviously, because he's the older, grizzled and the fat bat. Love the fat bat. Anyways, like we're saying, they're gonna steal from it into the movies.
Yeah,
if you want to read these actual
comic books. I think like reading comic books at this point,
cool.
especially if you're into the movies and stuff, it's really about like seeing the source material and seeing where the stuff come from and where it's come from and where it's going and how it's gonna like affect the movies. Because like honestly, like Civil War II just happened in the comics last year between Captain Marvel and Iron Man, and I'll give you like actually, okay, I put like $10 on the fact that like, you know, one of my predictions for Infinity War that Iron Man is gonna retire as Iron Man and just be Tony Stark. Like
no, yeah, honestly, he could be the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He could,
and like
but like you know, I feel like we're gonna get a Civil War II. Captain Marvel, and it'll be Captain Marvel Civil War.
I think they'll wait for a little bit longer, but yeah.
I think that's like definitely a possibility. But that's like a super new comic book.
Captain Marvel and that's so great.
Captain Marvel Civil War II. Like why not?
No, that's perfect.
Yeah, because I don't.
It is a great time to be alive. I gotta say, like to like this stuff, and I know we're getting a lot of announcements. Even like we've been having these discussions with certain movies that we are like, why is this coming out and that and the other. But I do freaking love seeing all these comic book characters, for better or for worse, up on the big screen. Obviously, I'd like it to be for better.
Kind of get the attention they deserve, even though it's not necessarily in the comics. But like you know, the movies and stuff push comic books to a degree.
Exactly, and going. I like,
and not even the movies, but like the TV shows. Like Daredevil season 1 is based off. Is Man Without Fear?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
It's based off Man Without Fear, and that is. Is it? What's his name?
I don't remember.
Michael Bendis'
Daredevil
one. Apparently, Daredevil Run is apparently like one of the best comic books like
ever. That's like I forget about Daredevil and stuff.
Jessica Jones. That's another good one that like aka Jessica Jones is super self-contained and you can read that and like just get it.
And you know what's funny? Even that like Jessica Jones. Apparently that's like it's a good comic, but that's not like a critically acclaimed one. Whereas like the show like. I forgot, like, I saw the trailer for Jessica Jones Season 2, and I was like, damn, I forgot how much I like this show. Yeah. Like, I was like, this is cool. And that whole first season, Jessica Jones, Purple Man, fucking, what's his name who plays him? David Tennant?
Yes.
So good. Really awesome stuff. Go watch it. But do you think that wraps us up, Gooch?
Yeah.
That wraps us up. Like we said, guys, go check it out. Please enjoy them. And, I mean, hey, if you've been here and you don't know anything about comic books, I mean, thanks for watching.
Hopefully this, like,
this maybe opens
put the fuel on the fire.
Yeah. And I think it's worth it. So thank you all for watching. You can find us on Facebook.com/Delco Network if you're already there. YouTube.com/Delco Network. Instagram and Twitter @Delco Nerds. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching and stay nerdy.